So I think maybe your best bet would be to come over here. A couple additional things, what we've been doing so far for the shoulder is this, that our knees have been placed about even with the top of the shoulder. Bring yourselves over here, please, so you can see, in case you don't watch the video.
I've watched all your videos.
And this, so we've been doing different things like this to get openness here and then range of motion. But there's a couple of other things that you can choose to do depending on the dynamic of the shoulder girdle. And one of them is right halfway between the shoulder and the base of the neck, on the highest portion of the trapezius, there's a point that helps release the shoulder. So after you stimulate the point here, and this, I think you all are clear now that when you, just to make sure you're on that point, you use your thumb on the mastoid process and come about a thumb, and you experience that when you're doing the work medial, and then you go right up underneath the occipital ridge and you get the point. So petrissage down the neck, and that brings you to the top of the shoulder. And to stimulate this point, there's a couple of different ways of doing it. You can take your fingertips and place it in here, and then move the shoulder up, and that gives her a lot of direct pressure into this point. Okay, and that's a really nice point. It's called shoulder well. It's a gallbladder point to help release the shoulder. Also, too, when we're doing range of motion, to loosen, we're going to, after you do range of motion, you can do a couple of things. You can take the arm and lift it up, and then open your leg like this, and stretch the arm this way. Feel him? See what I'm saying? This will create openness here. If you're working with someone, who's very tight here, you can, when you're, you can support here and use your fingertips to go right into pec minor. Because remember, pec minor comes and attaches on the coracoid process here of the acromion, and when it's contracted, it has a tendency to bring the shoulder forward. So in this position, you have the opportunity to go right into the pec minor, and there's a point right in the belly of pec minor to help release the shoulder. That helps open up the shoulder also.
Sounds terrible.
It is. It's vicious point. And then there's also, you could do this and let your fingers come into the soft tissue here, and you can just rotate like this into the soft tissue, which helps open up the shoulder also. Yes? Mm-hmm. And then finally, for this, to open up the shoulder, once you loosen it, with your legs up against the back like this, supporting it, just take your fingertips and with the back, your palm of your hand resting on, can you see? You have to feel. You want the palm of your hand is resting on the thigh, and your fingertips hook up underneath the vertebral border of the scapula. And just inhale. And on the exhale, shift your weight. So this hand is pressing here to coax it here, and this hand is like a fulcrum, and it helps lift the scapula off the rib cage. A lot of times when there's restriction in the shoulder girdle, what happens is that the scapula gets glued down to the ribs. So this helps spring it open. So, and you work down the lateral, the vertebral border. And that's simply not by using your strength, but hooking, and then on the exhale you just shift your weight to the side. Okay, nice. So that's that. So, and a couple of things now coming down to the leg, please. I want you to start to include a few points in the leg. Um, no. Why, are you wanted by the police or something? You can't be.
Secret agent.
No, better keep it that way then. There's a couple points I want you to use. One is at the base of the big toe. Feel on yourself, right? You feel the big toe, and then when it ends here, you want to press up underneath the base towards the tip. Do that on yourselves, please. And let me know if you feel a dull ache. You all feel that?
Yep.
That's called a source point. This point that we're doing here and the one we do for the gallbladder are called source point, and it helps balance all the energy in the meridian. So we're going to start to include them in our work now. Okay, a little bit. So, you know, when we started this and we're compressing up the leg, like we have been, you compress, but I want you to hit a few points. This one being one of them. And then the other one is on the top of the foot between the big toe and the second toe. In the webbing, press that on yourselves. You feel it until you feel a dull ache. Feel that? Yes? I want you to lose that, so I want you to do these 3 points. So, and you can easily do it by curling your fingers underneath it and just pressing into the point. And then this one. And then this one I showed you today, between the malleolus and the Achilles tendon. Okay? Those 3 points, and then this we're going to start doing. So when we do compressions, this is a general application of not only loosening the muscle, obviously, but also getting ready to be more specific to the meridians. So there's 3 meridians that are in the inside of the leg. Okay. And they're attached to these points. So one starts here, one starts here, one starts here. So, and they go up the leg. So after we do compressions, we're going to go back, and with our thumbs we're going to be a little bit more specific to the pathway of the meridian. So after we do compression, we're going to start right above the ankle and hook up underneath the bone, underneath the tibia. So do that on yourselves and feel like when you do it that here's the bone, you want to hook up underneath the bone.
Sorry, thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jesus, sorry, thank you.
That encompassed the whole thing. You're welcome, I'm sorry, I'll never do it again. So you feel that on yourselves?
Yeah.
And you want to go up and follow that. Now this is being more specific to the meridian. Don't worry about anything other than going up underneath the bone. And the meridian goes up. This next meridian is just a little bit more in, not as sensitive. So if you divided this portion of the leg in 3 equal parts, the first meridian being up underneath the bone and then continues up, the second one a little bit more here, and then the third one here. That's what I want you to start doing in this. So after you do compression of the foot, do those 3 points, compress the leg, and then work these 3 lines from the ankle to just below the groin. Understand? Okay. And you want to position your body accordingly. If you want to do 3 up to the knee, fine, and then from above the knee to just below the groin, fine. The energy doesn't mind. Just so that we're going to start working general to specific. Okay? Okay. So those are the things I want you to include in your work. All right? Okay, thanks.